So I wanted to talk to you today about Chihuahua puppies and how to go about making sure that you buy your Chihuahua puppy from a legitimate breeder, because it can get very confusing and you can find yourself in a situation where you end up buying a puppy that is ill and is just going to cause you a huge amount of heartache. Now, I had a client, and it wasn't a Chihuahua, actually, it was a little Shih Tzu. By the time they actually got to me to help resolve some of this dog's behavior issues, they'd spent literally thousands on vet bills and they couldn't really afford it. That's not really what they bought the dog for, because they picked it up from a puppy farm inadvertently. They didn't mean to. The dog had parvo, it had all sorts of other issues, and it was touch and go for a while about whether the dog would actually survive. So making sure that you get your dog from a legitimate breeder is essential to getting your puppy owning dream off on absolutely the right paw. So once you've decided that you're going to buy a Chihuahua puppy, then obviously you start your search on where you're going to buy it from. Now, there are several really big websites in the UK that I can't think what it's called now. Homes for Pets. I'm happy to be corrected. Where it's perfectly legitimate. People will advertise their dogs, but so will people who are not legitimate breeders and who are basically puppy farmers. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to spot the difference between a legitimate breeder and a puppy farmer. So you should never be expected to pay for your puppy until you've seen it. And that really includes putting a deposit down as well. If you are buying from a photograph and the dog's all dressed up and it's got little flowers in its hair and all the rest of it, the chances are that is just a stock photo of any dog, and the dog you think you're buying is not necessarily the dog you're going to end up with. Okay, they would just pick a dog that's very similar to the one that's in the photograph. So you should never pay for a dog up front, and you should certainly never buy it from a photograph or possibly even a video. And you should never ever have your dog delivered to you. You should always be going to pick it up. So one of the first indicators that you are buying from a puppy farm is that the breeder is way out in the sticks. Okay, so someone who is breeding loads and loads of different types of dogs is unlikely to be in a built-up area, because it's going to smell and because it's going to be noisy, and they're going to end up drawing attention to themselves. So the first thing is, where actually are they asking you to go? Is it right out in the sticks? Is it going to be on a really big farm? So the first red flag is, where is your breeder actually located, and how far away are they from civilization? So when I was doing some research on puppy farms, one of the websites I looked at made a lovely point of, you will get the chance to bond with your puppy in a viewing area. Okay, this is a huge red flag. You should be able to see your puppy with its mum. It should be with the rest of its litter mates, and you should be able to see where the dog is living and how that dog has been housed. So if you can't see the living arrangements for the dog, and if you can't see the owners, then this should be a really big red flag. So viewing areas, absolute no-no. It's going to be really difficult for you, and these people know that, for you to go, no, I'm not having that dog. Okay, because one, in your heart, because you're a nice human being, you want to rescue that dog and you want to take it away from the situation that it's in. But if you do that, then you would just encourage them to breed more. Okay, if you're ever worried about the situation that you're where you're buying from, your best bet is to walk away and then report it. So another red flag is, are they a regular advertiser? Are they advertising more than one breed? Do they have Frenchies, Chihuahuas, whatever fashionable? Yorkies are getting it at the moment, aren't they? So whatever fashionable breed is in at the moment, they will quickly adapt and start breeding that dog. So are they advertising regularly, and are they advertising lots of different types of breeds? It really does pay you to do your research. A puppy from a puppy farm is unlikely to have been regularly wormed. They are unlikely to have been vaccinated, and they are unlikely to have been chipped. Now, this can be a little bit of a grey area for a Chihuahua because some very small puppies are too small to chip until they're a little bit older, but they certainly should have a vaccination record for this dog, and they certainly should have a worming schedule that they can show you for your puppy. So anybody who wants to sell a puppy should really care about where that dog is going. So if the person asks nothing about you and is just happy to sell you the dog, then again, it's a red flag, because any reputable breeder will want to know all about you, will want to know about your situation, even how long you spend at work, all sorts of who else is in your household, all sorts of information. And they will most likely have a return contract in place so that you cannot move that puppy on if it's not working out for you. So again, another red flag that you are not buying your puppy from a legitimate breeder is that they just don't care anything about you. They don't ask any questions about you, and there is no return contract in place. The age that they sell the puppy at is also another thing to think about. Generally, Chihuahua puppies shouldn't be moved away from their mum until they're about 12 weeks. And I think in the UK, there is an 8-week, it's illegal to sell a puppy that is under 8 weeks old. Puppy farms don't care about this. They will just sell you the dog. They will probably lie about the age. So you need to think about how big the puppy is and how big it should be. But if they're happy to hand the dog over to you that is under 8 weeks old, then again, huge red flag that you really don't want to be dealing with these people. A puppy farmer will also tell you a right load of old nonsense about how big that Chihuahua may be. So are they going to be, you might particularly want a blue merle or something like that. Chihuahuas are one of the very few breeds that can be any color, and they almost certainly will change color from when they're a puppy to when they're an adult. When Minnie was a puppy, she was blue. She's now like a wolf sable. So Chihuahuas can change color. They cannot guarantee what color that dog is going to be. So if they start guaranteeing how big the dog's going to be, because again, Chihuahuas can vary in size. Minnie weighs 4.5 kilos. Okay, she's all pure Chihuahua. She's not fat. She is just a larger Chihuahua. Whereas Prince weighs 2.8 kilos. Okay, he's just a smaller dog. So not only can Chihuahuas vary hugely in their coat color, they can also vary in size. So no one can really guarantee what color your dog is going to be and what size your dog is going to be. And if they start talking about teacup Chihuahuas or micro Chihuahuas, then those dogs are the runts of the litter. Now, there are some horrendous cases where females are given cesareans so that the dogs are born too early and they don't develop, and then they are sold as teacups or as micro Chihuahuas or whatever you like. Okay, this is not something that anybody that is ethical in any shape or form at all. These female dogs live in horrendous conditions, and if you are being told that your dog is a teacup, okay, then you really do need to be thinking very closely about do you want to be dealing with these people. Another good way to check the legitimacy of your breeder is ask the name of their vet. If they don't have a vet, or they make an excuse about why you can't contact their vet, then again, red flag, okay? They haven't had the dogs vaccinated, they haven't been chipped, although some people do chip their own dogs, that's true, but the dogs most certainly will have been vaccinated, and every dog before it's moved on to its forever home will have had a health check by a legitimate vet. So get the name of their vet, and if you're concerned, don't hesitate to ring them up and ask them, is this person known to you? Are they a legitimate breeder? And the vet should be really happy to give you that information. So I hope you found these tips on how to make sure that you are buying your Chihuahua puppy from a legitimate breeder. Getting your Chihuahua from a breeder who cares about what they do is essential to making sure that your dog is just going to be healthy and that you're going to start your life together under the best possible circumstances. Please, if you found this video useful, like and subscribe to our channel. And if you've got any questions, then please just drop a line in the comments and I'll come back to you. Take care. Bye bye.